Imagine a toy so incredible it has launched a global frenzy, turning a modest toy making shop into a $40 billion corporation. Hello and welcome to another KuLAB. My name is Ku. This is our laboratory for learning. Welcome to another business news breakdown. Today we're going to take a look at the incredible story of Labubu, where we look at some vocabulary, some business concepts surrounding the incredible growth of Pop Mart and some ideas behind Labubu and its incredible popularity. So let's go ahead and jump in to our next KuLAB. As always, I like to start by giving recognition to the author. Today we're going to give thanks to William Langley. Let's go ahead and start with our headline. Labubu frenzy sends Pop Mart profits and shares soaring. Chinese toy companies' better than expected results may allay analysts' concerns over sustainability of its sales surge. Okay, let's take a look at our headline. Labubu frenzy. So frenzy is a word that means something that has a lot of energy to it and moving at an incredible pace. Sometimes it's so fast it's uncontrollable. Profits and shares soaring. So the word soaring here, to soar means to go towards the sky. It's often used as a word that means going much higher or going very high, very fast. So when profits soar, that means they're going up and business is looking fantastic. Chinese toy companies' better than expected results may allay analysts' concerns. So this is a fun word. To allay means to ease somebody into the idea. If someone is concerned about something, to allay those concerns means to help them not feel worried or make them feel better about the situation. In this case, analysts were concerned that Pop Mart got a lot of money very quickly, but it could be short-lived, that it was, something that was a very quick trend or very quick fad, and they didn't see long-term growth for the company. So analysts were quite concerned, but these better than expected results allayed their concerns. It means it made them not worry as much. Sustainability of its sales surge. So sustainability is a word that means that it will continue over a long period of time. We talk about making the earth sustainable. That means making sure the earth stays inhabitable or making sure we can live on the earth for a long time. Sustainable growth means that it will last over a very long time and not be something that happens very quickly and then stops all of a sudden. The global popularity of the furry elf doll Labubu helped Pop Mart's sales more than triple in the first 6 months of the year. The Chinese toy company's sales jumped while net profits soared almost 400%, beating the company's own forecast of at least 350% given last month. Overseas sales accounted for about 40% of sales. So this is a very typical paragraph when talking about revenue, when talking about expectations. This is a very common business news paragraph, especially when you're talking about a specific company. So let's break this one down. So they describe the doll, furry elf doll, Labubu, more than triple. So more than triple means at least 3 times, 300% in the first 6 months of the year. So we often measure things according to month or a 3-month period or 6-month period. So they went from X number of dollars to 3 times that many sales in the first 6 months. Became very, very popular. Second paragraph tells us the sales jumped, gives us a number. Net profit soared almost 400%. So this is one of the key ideas, this idea of net profit. So net profit is the profit after you get rid of all of the expenses, overhead, you pay salaries. So net profit is including all the business expenses and things tied with overhead, electricity, paying salaries. All of those things are subtracted, and what's left over is net profit. So this is saying net profit soared. Remember, our word soared means to go up very fast, almost 400%. Another key point is this idea of beating the company's own forecasts. A forecast is a company's projection. What do we think will happen? So often, sometimes they will know what's happening. They'll make a forecast. We are going to sell 1 million units. But sometimes things can get so popular that it can beat the forecast, which means you sell more than what the company thought, or it doesn't meet the forecast, which means you sell less than what the company thought. And a lot of analysts look at the company forecast to kind of see how well the company did in terms of investment, whether or not you should buy stock, things like that. In this case, it beat the company's forecast. And the forecast was 350%. So the company said, we're going to do really well. 350% net profit growth is incredible for a company. But in this case, it was even more than the company forecast. And then overseas sales accounted for 40% of sales. So that's good that not all of the sales are happening in China, that overseas there's nearly 40% of the sales accounted for. Pop Mart has become one of the world's most valuable toy companies, worth more than twice as much as Hasbro and Mattel combined, following the Labubu frenzy that has been embraced by celebrities including Rihanna and David Beckham. So this is pretty exciting in the sense that very famous toy companies, Hasbro and Mattel, that account for most of the toys you might find in a toy shop. All of your board games, a lot of your dolls, your Barbies, all of these things are made by Hasbro or Mattel. So this is saying this Pop Mart company is now the world's most valuable toy company, mostly based on this Labubu. This is how popular it is. Worth more than twice as Hasbro and Mattel combined. That's incredible. If you put those two big, huge companies together and then multiplied it by 2, Pop Mart would still be bigger than that company. That's incredible. That's an amazing rise in a very short amount of time. Embraced usually means to wrap your arms around like a hug, but it usually means to accept. In this case, embraced by celebrities means celebrities have endorsed them, or celebrities have been seen with them, and so they've become quite popular. The company's Hong Kong listed shares are up more than 600% over the past year, making Wang China's 12th richest person, according to Bloomberg. So this is saying that the company's listed in Hong Kong. Shares are up more than 600%. So again, an incredible rise, an amazing amount of popularity for these toys and for this particular company. And Wang is the CEO and now the 12th richest person in China. China has a lot of billionaires, a lot of rich people, and to all of a sudden become the 12th richest person in the country is pretty amazing. Many of its toys are sold in a blind box format, whereby consumers do not know exactly which item they have purchased until they open them. This format has helped drive repeat purchases, especially from eager collectors who want to buy complete sets of each range of toys. So this is quite important. This is the idea behind why they're so popular. So in many cases, you cannot go to a store and pick a particular Labubu. You have to buy a blind box. So a blind box is similar to a loot box in video games. It means that you don't know which toy is inside. The box is covered, it's got some interesting wrapping on it, but you don't actually know which toy is inside. So you have to buy a box, open it up, and see if you got the toy you wanted. Now, sometimes this can be fun. Business psychologist knows that this type of purchasing is very addictive for humans, right? We like the idea of opening up things and seeing what we got. And it drives repeat sales. It's a format that you often see a lot in video games, like I mentioned, Pokemon cards, where you purchase something and then you push a button and you see what you get. A lot of times in Japanese and Chinese video games, there's the idea of gacha games, or games where there is some sort of role and you have to see what kind of item you get. It's that kind of idea, but in a toy market. So if you do want to buy the toy that you want, a lot of times you have to go to what's called a secondary market. A secondary market is a place like eBay or Amazon, or in Japan, I think Mercari. These types of places are where people who have opened up a box and then they put it up for sale. Usually the toy costs a lot more on the secondary market. And if a toy is particularly popular, the price can be incredibly high. Pop Mart is making a lot of its money, a lot of its sales, with one person maybe buying 2 or 3 times to get the right toy. So regardless of how you feel about that, this is the business model that they're working with. The word here, eager means people who are happy to do something. If you're eager, then that means you really want to do something. And so in this case, they really want a particular toy, and so they will buy many, many, many blind boxes. The better than expected results could help allay analysts' concerns over the sustainability of the company's rise. Pop Mart shares briefly dipped in June after the People's Daily, the official mouthpiece of the Chinese Communist Party, published a report warning that the blind box format could induce addictive behavior in minors, raising fears of a crackdown. So this paragraph is also important when we take a look at first the word allay, talked about in the subheading, sustainability, briefly dipped. So dipped means to go down a little bit, usually a small decrease, dipped. So the official mouthpiece, in this case, mouthpiece means this particular newspaper or media outlet, People's Daily, gets its information directly from the Chinese government, and in this case, the Chinese Communist Party. So if you're a mouthpiece, it means they are speaking through you. When they published this report, it was as if it came directly from the Chinese government. The report warned that blind box format could induce addictive behavior in minors. So addictive means you cannot stop. Think about people who drink too much, alcoholism or drugs or something like that. Smoking is addictive. It means it's very hard for you to stop because of what it does to your brain. So blind box is very similar to gambling in nature in that it has the same type of addictive qualities to it. But they noticed the addictive behavior was in minors. So minors means an individual who is below the legal age. In many countries, that's 18. Some places it's 21. Some places it's 16. So a minor is a child or someone who is not of legal age to do something. There was some concerns that this blind box business model might get shut down by the Chinese Communist Party if they consider it addictive to minors. They won't let people buy multiple products if it's a gambling type of atmosphere. Crackdown is a word to describe the government coming in and putting a stop to something. So you crack down on things like drugs and alcohol or illegal practices. So crackdown is when the government comes in and says you cannot do something anymore. So if they do that with Pop Mart, then the shares will probably drop considerably, because this business model of blind box selling is so important to their revenue growth. Pop Mart increased its number of stores in the 6 months, bringing its global total to 571, alongside almost 2,600 robo-shops or vending machines. The largest number of new stores was in the Americas, followed by mainland China. So alongside means together with. In this case, 571 stores that you can walk into, together with 2,600 robo-shops or vending machines. So in China, in Japan, these sort of vending machine shops, very important. They're not an entire store dedicated to Pop Mart, but they're small stores where you can buy Labubu products. The largest number of new stores was in the Americas. So that would be probably mostly the United States, but also Canada, Mexico, followed by mainland China. So the fact that Labubu is very popular outside of China is very important to its growth. It means there are a lot of new potential customers and lots of big markets like the Americas. Okay, fantastic article, learning a little bit about Pop Mart and the incredible toy Labubu and how popular it's become. So much so that Pop Mart itself is worth more than the two major toy companies, Mattel and Hasbro, combined. Understanding that the business model of blind boxes could be a little bit risky, in that it drives a lot of revenue because people have to buy more than one product at a time to get which one they want, or they have to go to a secondary market. But also, if the Chinese government decides that this kind of behavior is very addictive or very similar to that of gambling, it might stop anyone who is a minor from purchasing, which could definitely hurt Labubu's sales. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed this article. If you like these business news breakdown, if you enjoy these types of articles, hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out. Also, as this being a collab, go ahead and write a comment down below if there's a particular article or a particular topic that you would like to see me break down. Add that to the comments and we'll be happy to take a look. All right, thanks again so much. We appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next KuLAB.